I do apologize. Don't apologize to me.
Good morning, how you doing?
Oh, good. Yourself?
Well, pretty good for the shape I'm in.
I know, that's kind of my figure too. Yeah.
Isn't that
Give it-
awful nice? I like the
Yeah,
sparkle.
sparkle, yes. It's, it doesn't glow in the dark, that's not a good thing. It does, but it does sparkle. And I find little pieces up in my, I walk in my closet and go, what's that? And when you're old and it's like, my contacts aren't in yet, what is that sparkly stuff?
No, you're good. I'll just lay it right there. I know what it's for. Married to an old camera guy, so I know you're just family.
Oh, he has the, that's his notice. Yeah, Diana was asking about those. She said,
Yeah, I know they were still on my desk. Yeah, kind of interesting.
they are. It's a good way to find out what your townships are. And
Yeah, it was.
yeah.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the April 18th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Morning, Commissioners. And Madam Clerk, first item, please.
First item today is item 3, consent agenda.
Any questions or a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second the motion.
So motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 3, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, we have one set of vouchers dated April 17th, 2013 in the amount of $922,000 and $5.26. I'll make a motion to approve, but I do have a couple of questions on some vouchers.
I would second the motion to approve.
So motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. Questions at this time?
Yeah. Infrastructure, is that anyone in particular? Is that you, John?
Under which one?
Under the infrastructure category, it was $108,642.30 to Ham Inc.
That's
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's Tom.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Lockwood, Public Works and Solid Waste. That Ham is doing the construction work for us on the Southeast 45th Street Improvement Project, so I'm pretty certain that would be probably their first pass.
Okay. Southeast
45th,
45th Street.
between
Okay.
Topeka and Adams.
Okay. And I think this is probably for you also, Tom. In sewer districts,
Yes.
we had $117,105.22 to MCON.
Yes.
EMCON, could you explain that?
Yes.
How the sewer districts work and what that's for?
Yeah, the county, we have certain sewer districts throughout the county outside the Topeka city limits that come under the jurisdiction of the county. And we have the Sherwood Regional Wastewater System, which we own the treatment plant, but we contract all the operation to the city of Topeka because they have the water pollution control staff to do that. So they operate that plant for us, and we're under contract with the city of Topeka to make basically all of our sewer maintenance for all the sewers that we own. But in the Sherwood area, we just recently completed an improvement project here in the past couple of years to install some new force main and some pump stations, and that would be their last passment, and that work was completed probably a couple months ago, maybe the end of last year. I can't remember exactly when, but it was just getting finished up. So it was their last passment for that project. And it was I think it was like a $3 million improvement project that we've been working on the past couple of years.
And this is the final?
I believe it's the final, yes.
And those are paid by the Sherwood Improvement
Yes, those are.
District. Those are not county
Yes,
funds as
yes,
well.
those are user fee based, not tax funded.
Very important. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank
Other
you.
questions?
I have no questions.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
Move approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B, community corrections. Number 1, consider approval of a recommendation of the Juvenile Corrections Advisory Board for a line item adjustment of $10,000 from JIAC intake and assessment to JISP intensive probation and CCMA custody case management.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ed O'Rear, Community Corrections. We're seeking your approval for a transfer of $10,000 from juvenile intake to juvenile intensive supervised probation and JJA custody case management. All three entities are funded by a Juvenile Justice Authority graduated sanctions grant. The grant year runs from July 1st to June 30th, so we are approaching the end of the year. And juvenile intake foresees that they will have $10,000 left over and has graciously offered the money to us. We have found ourselves underfunded on our secure transport costs for youth out of home. Transportation to placement, transportation to back home for reintegration, and then also transportation to and from court appearances. And so we're seeking an amount for that. Some clothing for kids out of home who do not have parents that can provide any kind of clothing for them for the school year, for jobs, and as they outgrow what they have. And then an amount for basically a life skills, anger management type of program for our intensive supervised probation youth who are in town and at home that we will host in our office. The amount comes to the $10,000.
Thank you. Are there questions?
Mr. O'Rear, you touched on it briefly. You said that this will not impact the juvenile intake, that you assume that there's going to be $10,000 left over for their budget.
Yes, and they approached us, Gail Kozak from Kansas Children's Service League. They are the agency that is the contracted provider for intake. Yes, they came to us saying that they have, in personnel, they have had a shortage of personnel over the year, and it has resulted in a surplus that they predict comfortably at $10,000.
I would move to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook to approve the request, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Item C, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider approval of emergency sole source purchase from security transport for prisoner transport from Hawaii in a total amount of $5,195.
Good morning there, Commission.
Good morning,
Morning.
Sheriff.
Chairman Jones, Sheriff, Shawnee County. I'm here to address the matter of, I guess it looks like a high cost of bringing someone back to our great county to answer to some dirty deeds that they've committed here. This is a case where an individual was, it was a warrant signed for an individual on 2 different occasions. One is on theft, over $1,000, basically it was up to about $20,000. And also an individual that burgled a home, broke into a home, aggravated burglary there. And this individual, he was on parole, violated the parole, and the court order was signed for this individual to be picked up and arrested and brought back. This individual was located in Hawaii. Granted, this is unusual as we might think of, but it's just one of the cases where this individual was in Colorado, it was in Missouri, or visiting Kansas. We're going to go out there and bring these individuals back for justice, and basically it's for our purposes of maintaining a safe community right here. Obviously, $5,000, that's the cost of doing business and trying to make things safer right there. So I'm here to answer any questions with that. I will add that for the efficiencies of what it costs right here, for us to send personnel over there, it would cost as much, if not more. So this is the feasibility of having someone, STS, go out and do that. We generally put it out for other transport services there. 2 of these services that we've used have gone out of business. The other is higher cost. This was the lowest bid right here. So.
Okay, thank you. Questions, Commissioner Archer?
Do we have any prospect of getting our money back?
Of talking with the district attorney's office, because of the process of where this is, I don't think this individual will be any restitution coming from right there. So there are some methods that go with that, but in this case right here, it just basically is our hit for our budget.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. And I know you'd asked to put this on the consent agenda, but I did pull it off, and I think Jane contacted you, but it
That's right.
helps the public and us
Okay.
better
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
So thank you for being here this
You
morning.
bet.
Okay.
Item D, Health Agency. Number 1, consider approval of a request to issue a request for proposal for a medical supply vendor with an estimated cost of medical supplies per year at $116,000.
Morning, Commissioners. Allison Alejos, Health Agency. We're requesting approval to go ahead and send out a release for proposal for medical supplies. We use quite a few in the Health Agency just in the course of our day-to-day business, and it's time. Our contract's expired, and we need to go ahead and get something else in place.
Thanks, Allison. Move approval of the request. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Archer. Questions? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item D2, consider approval of request to create and fill a new position of fetal and infant mortality project coordinator position at an estimated annual cost of $52,678.08 to be paid from an FIMR grant.
This is a continuation of the fetal infant mortality grant that was approved back in February. This is the position that we need to have filled so that we can get that project up and going.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Archer?
Please. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a new position,
Correct.
Alice? And explain to me FIMR grant, how that works?
Fetal infant mortality review, that's the grant that we have just received through the Kansas Health Foundation and the United Methodist Health Ministry funds. It'll allow us to go out in the community, work with our community partners, medical providers in the community to really review intensely the causes of infant death in our community and try to decrease those deaths. It's very community oriented.
And how long is the grant for?
The grant's a 5-year grant. We have the first 2 years are funded at 100%, and then it decreases every year until we get to the end of the 5th year. Then we will be looking for funding within the community.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. Did you follow up questions? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, guys.
Item E, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 233-2013 with the Sertoma Great Topeka Duck Race Committee, setting out the conditions for the operation of the 2013 Great Topeka Duck Race to be held on September 7th, 2013 at Lake Shawnee, with the proceeds distributed by the Sertoma Club to charitable organizations and 5% of the revenue to the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. Before you is the Great Topeka Duck Race contract that we've had with them for, I believe now 19 years that we've done this out there. The event takes place right out there by the beach parking lot down in the area of the lake. And also that weekend we do have the Huff and Puff Balloon Rally that goes on that weekend too. Be happy to answer any questions you might have on the event.
No, thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve the contract.
I do have
Question?
a quick question. How has participation in the duck race been over the past few years?
As in like people coming out or
How
just
much money
the
are
ducks?
we raising and people coming out, or is the community still active in
Yeah,
supporting this
actually
event?
in the last couple of years, it's actually gone up. I mean, we've actually sold more ducks in the last couple of years.
Good.
And participation is usually pretty good, depending on the, obviously, well, today wouldn't be good, but if the weather was good, we do have good participation.
Okay, thank you, Sean.
I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 234-2013 with Pros Consulting for the development of a long-range strategic master plan for Parks and Recreation at a cost of $110,630. And consider approval of request to transfer user fee revenues to the building maintenance fund, $60,630 to come from the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. When I had this item before the Commissioners to ask for permission to negotiate a contract, I had asked for a 50-50 split. I believe one of the Commissioners, it might have been Commissioner Cook, suggested that we go back to the Foundation and see if we could solidify the number from the county's, the county, and I did. We went back, and the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation did agree to anything in and above the $50,000. So the county would be on the hook for $50,000, where the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Foundation will take the rest, which would be about $60,630.
I'm going to stop you right there, John, because the foundation, for those who don't know, those are not tax dollars. Those are contributions that come into the foundation.
All
for
private
charitable
dollars, all
purposes.
contributions, those type of things, yes.
So the expenditure to the county would be $50,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And additionally on that request, my request is to transfer $50,000 of my user fees to the building maintenance fund to pay for the other $50,000. We did talk about this item last night at the Shawnee County Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting. I think since with the over 100 years of experience of Parks and Rec at Topeka and over 50 years with Shawnee County Parks and Rec, to have a combined community, the entire county-wide master plan where we're looking at parks and recreation services now, into the future, and for the long term, how we would go about fit into the development of parks or of roads and neighborhoods and all of those type of things. This could be, and likely will be, one of the most valuable things we do coming out of the consolidation. The advisory board, they can play a very valuable role. As their title says, they're advisory. They could be out listening to the public, getting public input to make sure that the document that comes back is something that is reflective of the entire community. Be happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Knight, let's talk about the funding first. Your proposal is to have it come out of the maintenance fund. By resolution, though, there's no allowance for that. The resolution specifically says that all expenditures shall only be stated for the reason in the resolution, and it goes through finance repairs, remodel, upgrade, replace Shawnee County Parks and Recreation buildings and facilities. None of that would be in a master plan. And so while I support a master plan, we can't do it in the manner in which you suggested.
Okay.
Would you be able to have that money come out of your budget for the 2013 year?
Yes. And this being so important to the next 10 to 15 years of Parks and Recreation, yeah, we would be able to work it that way.
Okay. I mean, the other option would be to ask for an exception to the resolution, but my fear is, and my concern is, once we start asking for exceptions to this resolution.
Then I'm down here all the time asking for another exception.
Yes, that's exactly correct. The second question I had was as to the consulting group that you have suggested, which was Pros Consulting. I haven't received anything from Pros Consulting. I do not personally know Pros Consulting. I don't know the presentation. We haven't seen a presentation from them as to their services, their qualifications. We're relying upon you. In doing some research, I see that they have done presentations to the City of Seattle for their master plan, the City of San Francisco for their master plan. It appears by everything that I can research on my own that they appear to be a very qualified firm, very highly respected within their community. Do you have anything additional to add as to their qualifications?
Only that within our industry, there are a handful of consultants that are respected nationwide. Pros is one of the one or two best that I think no matter what Parks and Rec department you would ask, they would say that Pros Consulting would be one. There are a couple others, Green Play out of Colorado, some of those others. But that's real. The only thing I would like to add is I'm the one here speaking in front of you, but we did do a very thorough search for this. I do have something I can pass out. I only have the one copy here, but it kind of goes through how the advisory board and the foundation helped select the RFPs, go through all of that, interview the companies, did some background search of those companies. I did not have anything presented here, but on more than one occasion they presented to representatives and unanimously chose Pros Consulting.
And the final question that I had, and if you want to go ahead and pass it. In looking at the reports that Pros Consulting has done for the Seattle and from San Francisco, and those were the ones that I could find online, and looking at their presentations and thinking about what we're wanting from a master plan, the question that I had was, why aren't we using a group like Heartland Visioning, which is local, which has the ability to talk about community involvement? A lot of what Pros Consulting does is they have community meetings, they have listening tours, they have surveys, and they're doing evaluations as to what the communities want for their parks and recreation. Do we know how that would differ from what a Heartland Visioning or a like group could do?
The Pros Consulting will come in and give a specific to Parks and Recreation blend on this. I can see one of the very first people that Pros Consulting and I will speak with when they get ready to get started and come to town will be Heartland Visioning, because much of the work that they've done over the last few years is going to be duplicative work of what they would have to do. So that'll be one of the first groups we meet with. But as you can tell from some of the other master plans, what they will do is they will look at what we currently have as the combined department. Also, what do we need? What are the benchmarks on a national scale of how many pools do the communities of the size of Shawnee County need? Where should they be? Community centers, golf courses, all of the facilities. They'll also come back and give us some things that Heartland Visioning couldn't give us, which would be grounds and maintenance plans for the future, facilities maintenance plans for the futures. One important part that, being from this community, I know is to help develop a departmental-wide fee policy. What we charge in one part of town may not be what we'd be able to charge in the other part of town. How do we set up our fee structures where we recover as much as we can from user fees to offset any kind of tax subsidy that would be coming our way to, but still make it fair. That's the kind of things that this company can do that Heartland Visioning wouldn't.
I think Heartland Visioning can help convene the public and those sorts of things, but this Pros Consulting will do much more of a detailed analysis than I think Heartland Visioning could give us. Further comments or questions? I do have a question.
Go ahead.
John, we will own the information then that's gathered, correct?
Yes.
I talked with Pat Oaklander about this, and I'll have some discussion with Mark Hickson, but I think it would be good to then use this information as much as we could, and maybe developing some sort of GIS layer system of parks and recreation, public facilities, school facilities, and that sort of thing, to be able to better map, where our resources are that would be available to the public online and that sort of thing. We have the capacity to do that. But we just don't have the information. So I think that's something that I'm going to follow up and see if we could get that going as soon as we have all the information. Okay. So I think that might be helpful.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I do have some questions for John about the contract, but maybe first an unsolicited testimonial about our Parks and Rec Department. I was reading the minutes of the last advisory, and under the category of budget savings, and I'll go over these briefly, but reduction of catalog mailing was approximately $33,000 in annual savings. The partnership of Topeka Civic Theater and Helen Hocker, approximate annual savings $40,000. Partnership with Topeka and Shawnee County Library, they have absorbed the cost of 36 new computers for our community centers. We need to highlight that kind of information. I did notice also from the meeting last night that you pointed out that expenses that we had before consolidation was well over $18 million, and our budget and expenses for Parks and Rec this year is about $15 million. I think that's significant. I think it needs to be highlighted and publicized. So that's the end of the testimonial. Why can't we do this study in-house?
Well, one of the reasons why when we've had some of these budget savings, we don't have any staff available to do the in-depth search and study and put this together. Two, I don't think anybody in-house has the ability to see what has worked in Seattle, what has worked in San Francisco, to benchmark it against other communities our size across the country.
Okay. And I did some research also on pros, and they do have a very good reputation. In the long run, will this save money for taxpayers?
That would be my intent, that we more efficiently spend taxpayer dollars. I mean, I guess the scenario could be out there that that the community doesn't have enough of the facilities that they want, and they may want to spend more, but I will be able to tell them that we are more efficiently spending the money that we are on the facilities that we have.
Well, I just noticed because parts of the contract deal with operational efficiencies, maintenance efficiencies, that I think are important, and I think will give us a good payback. I'm going to make a motion to approve, but I did want to say that if we go down this path, if we contract with pros to provide this long-range plan, we are making a commitment, staff and management in the county commission, to follow their recommendations, and I'm sure that they'll be amended and will be discussed and so on. But I think spending this kind of money, we are making a commitment for the next 10 to 20 years for Parks and Rec in Shawnee County. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Archer, clarification on your motion. Is it that it'd be funded from the general fund or the budget for Parks and Recreation?
Yes.
Then
Sorry, I thought we had clarified that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Commissioner.
I will second that
Motion
motion.
by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. And the length of time to get this completed?
Didn't think anybody was going to ask that question. I started putting my papers away. What you have here, it'll be a little bit more of a detailed list of the deliverables that we'll get and when we'll get them. It's broken down by the different tasks, but it's also a tentative schedule. I haven't met with pros or yet, but that's kind of the schedule I'm looking at. But it should be between about 9 to 11 months is what I anticipate.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Welcome.
Item 5, Administrative Communications. Number 1, update on curbside recycling. Tom Block, Public Works Solid Waste.
Morning again, Commissioners. Tom Block of Public Works and Solid Waste. As was requested, I think, at a couple of meetings ago, regarding a request to provide an update for curbside recycling. That is what I'm here to do this morning. As you know, we started the program back in January in earnest, where we got everyone their carts delivered. Now we are through the first quarter of the program, and overall, I think the program is going quite well, in my opinion. We got everyone their carts, got all the smaller carts exchanged for those who made the request. Those are all completed. That, I will say, took us a little longer due to staffing to get that done. That is all completed. But for the large part of the program and implementation, I think it went pretty well without many hiccups at all, to be honest with you. I guess in my opinion, it actually went a lot smoother than we anticipated. As far as the numbers are concerned, for the first quarter, our recycling program has taken in 2,618 tons of material. When you compare that to the first quarter of last year, it was 1,686 tons, which is an increase of 55% from a year before. I will note, and again, this is only for over a 3-month period, but there's a trend which I hope continues. If you compare the tonnage that was brought in January 2013 to January 2012, that was an increase of 48.4% from that year, or that month to the month the year prior. In February, that variance from February 2013 to February 2012, the increase in the difference in tonnage brought in each month was 50%. And then in March of 2013 compared to March of 2012, we had an increase in tonnage of 69%. So we hope that trend continues to go forward. But again, like I said, it's just a 3-month period. We really don't know. But I personally think that people are realizing how simple it is to recycle. And I've had many comments to me, people that say, I can't believe how much I put into my recycling cart, and my recycling cart is actually not big enough compared to my trash cart, and my trash cart never gets full anymore. That's exactly what we want to happen. And whether it's with us or with someone else, I think the whole goal is to have everyone recycle. So we are pleased to see that, and hopefully it will continue. From a customer base standpoint, when I had taken over as the director of solid waste back at the end of July, beginning of August, we had 42,326 customers at that time. We knew and we anticipated with the implementation of the curbside in the rate increase that we expected some folks to drop off and switch service providers, which we have. In January, it went from 42,326, you said back in August, and in January we had 41,834 customers, and that was a decrease of 1.16%. In February, it dropped a little bit further, down to 41,627, which was a decrease of 1.65%. And then in March, it dropped again a little bit further, down to 41,299, which is a decrease of 2.43%. Now, there was some efforts on some other service providers that we knew would have some impact, and we believe it did. But we always felt that in the past, when this has happened, customers realized the service we provided, they would come back. Well, in April, we're starting to realize that a little bit. In April, our numbers were 41,345, which is down, or which is then a change from August of 2.32%. So we're hopefully seeing that swing back up. Now, I know there's another effort to do the same thing, and so we might see another drop, but if we're patient, we feel we will gain all those customers back. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I don't know if people always realize this, but solid waste is not tax funded. It's all user fee based. And one of the things we do at solid waste with the fees that we bring in is we provide a lot of other things free of charge to the community, such as the household hazardous waste facility is operated for anybody in the county to use that facility. We also have the mobile household hazardous waste collection events, once or twice a year, where we pay for the fees to have those disposed of. We also do tire collection events, where we'll collect tires from folks free of charge and have those disposed of. We also do several assistance for neighborhood improvement cleanup days, where we'll provide the bins or whatever for them to use. We also do many educational talks to different groups throughout the community. So we are not, like I said, we're not tax funded, but we also provide the free educational things and the free services to the public on behalf of that. So I hope people realize that we are trying to provide a service for the whole good of the community, whether or not they are actually a customer or not. One thing I would like to say again, while I have the opportunity, is in an effort to help keep our recyclable material as clean as possible, then when it's brought up to the material recovery facility, is we're experiencing sometimes, still we're getting people that will throw trash into the recycled containers. And we really have to try to prevent that as much as possible, because what that does, essentially what that does is it contaminates the load, where either the load would have to be rejected and it all gets put into the landfill, or it reduces the amount of, it reduces the quality of the recycled material that then is later sold by Waste Management, and it reduces that fee and it reduces the amount that we would recoup. So just want to stress to the public to try to do not put trash in the recycle carts, and especially things like plastic bags, electrical cords, anything that can get wrapped around mechanical equipment. That really causes a lot of problems up at that facility, because they basically, if you get electrical cords wrapped around some of this machinery, they basically have to shut the plant down to go to try to retrieve it out. So, but overall, so I think things are going pretty well. We now will spend the next several months evaluating internally how we are doing our recycling. Are we as efficient as we can be? Are there changes we need to do? I think we're actually more efficient than I thought we would be. Starting out, our drivers are able to make a lot of pickups, a lot more pickups than I thought they would be in a short time frame than I thought they would. So we're going to be evaluating all of that as we go on, over the next several months toward the end of the year, and then if we need to make changes to make us better, then we'll look at doing that. So with that, I will stand for questions if any of you have any.
Thank you, Tommy. I want more customers. We got a huge fixed cost, and we need more customers, as many customers as we can, to allocate those fixed costs. Do we ever do any marketing for our services?
We don't, and I tell you, this is why.
Should we?
Well, this to me is a fine line, because even though we are not tax funded, we are a county agency, and there's an argument you can have there is should the county even be involved at all? I know there's a side of folks that say county, the government shouldn't be involved in an operation like this at all, and then there's others that say yes, they should be. So we try not to actively market because of that fine line. If the commission said go out and market, we could sure go out and try to market hard, but I guess I'd say we almost purposely don't, because we don't want to cross that line.
But we have competitors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they compete against us, I'll
Right.
tell you that. So I mean, it's one of those things of, I don't know, we're treading lightly, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Madam Chair, I'd like to have some additional conversation about that. Not right now, but I mean, as we're thinking about our customers and how we can improve our service. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
I mean, I think you are kind of looking at some opportunities throughout the community, whether it's a different city to expand services. I know there's some discussions with the city of Rossville right now because they contract privately with another company. So I think while we might not be aggressively marketing, we're still out there and
Yes,
putting
we
ourselves
submit
forward
proposals
for
on
those
several
proposals.
commercial. These numbers I've given you do not include commercial.
Residential.
We have
Right.
over 1,000 commercial customers also, but yes, when folks are looking for solid waste services, they usually contact every company that's in town, and then we propose them, every one. So it's not like we're not going after business, it's just that we're not marketing per se.
You're responding to requests when
Yes.
you're asked for that sort of thing.
Thank you,
Um,
Madam Chair.
Tom, when is the next tire event? Do you know?
We have not scheduled one
Okay.
yet.
Okay. I was asked that the other day, and I didn't have any answer.
I'm
for
trying
him,
to
so
think,
let us
I know there's another entity, like Keep America Beautiful, or has one, and I can't recall. I think they have one scheduled, I don't recall.
Well, there's a big cleanup coming up this weekend
Saturday.
as well. And I think all of us are in some way, shape, or form doing cleanup this weekend, so, with Keep America Beautiful, so. The other question I had, household hazardous waste, I think there's this perception that they're only open on Saturday, and they are open
They're
during
open
the week,
5 days a week.
5 days
yes.
a week. And they,
Till, I think we're 3 o'clock.
okay,
Like,
all right. Just in a recent tour, when I went out to the MRF, you know, there were lots of things that were off to the side that they couldn't recycle that belonged at the household hazardous waste facility. You know, it was amazing what people are putting in there. Propane tanks.
Well, and I will say also-
You know, large propane tanks, small propane tanks.
Speaking of that, since we
it's
started with
dangerous.
curbside and got out the educational material in our packets, the amount of material we're getting at the household hazardous waste, because we included that in our packets,
I was
has
wondering.
increased quite a bit
Oh,
also.
that's good.
So that is good. Keep in mind, it is to be for household residents and not necessarily businesses,
Businesses, yeah.
because they could overwhelm us. So we have seen an increase there also, which is really good.
And waste management, you know, they did stress when we were out there that the bags are a constant issue. And there's this one hopper machine, I don't know what they technically call it, but the bags get caught in there and it doesn't then allow the material to sift through there. And they have to stop then, and somebody has to get in there and clear out all those bags. And it just, you know, it's not good.
Yeah, I would
so.
say we get at least notified every week of some load that's come in with something that's causing them problems. So, you know, there's really not much we can do except try to make people aware, to try to help us out. And so, any opportunity we get, we will do that. And then we also try to have our drivers keep mental note
yeah.
if they hear something strange that maybe got dumped into their truck, and so that they get up there and they find out, you know, like it's a toilet or something. It's just unbelievable things that end
Yeah,
up in these things.
yeah, it was pretty wild.
Um,
Well, and I think where it transfers to dollars is that when Waste Management goes to sell those commodities, I mean, they package them and put them on pallets, and then when they sell those, then the company that they're selling them to, whether it's a pure, you know, pallet or not, I mean, that affects our bottom line then on how much we're getting back from that contract, so, and thus the sustainability of recycling, so it does impact it.
It does, and
Yeah.
sometimes, and I think this actually might be one of those times when the market is such that the vendors that are buying the material, maybe the demand isn't quite so high, and they get a lot pickier about the quality of the material they receive, and if the quality is not what they want, they just flat out won't buy it.
Right.
And so, again, it's just going to be an ongoing educational effort as far as trying to get people to you know, just put in there only what we want and make it sure it's clean.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other administrative communications?
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Health Agency. I just wanted to share with you a recent action that has taken place at our California clinic. Through the efforts of communications with Topeka Metro and our Shawnee County Public Works, we've been able to have a sheltered bus stop located right at the front of our clinic. Previously, people would have to walk all the way to 21st Street to get to from the bus stop to the clinic, and so we're we're just really excited to have that there. We had a board member who has been very persistent with Topeka Metro over the last couple years, and so they've been very responsive. And I do want to acknowledge Tom Block and his staff for doing the concrete work for us. And it's just a nice thing, and we've had some good response from the public already about it. So just wanted to let you know it was there.
And Lori?
Leave it up.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lori Chandler with the Shawnee County Extension Office. I wanted to take just a couple of minutes to tell you about our event that's coming up next week. A couple of you will be helping out. This is an event that we've been having, I've been here 20 years this year, and so it's been going on a little bit over 20 years. But it's called From Farm to You, where it's an opportunity for us to help second graders learn that even though they don't live on a farm, that they are connected to agriculture through the food that they eat and the clothes that they wear. So we invite second grade classrooms to come in and to learn about agriculture. And this is, I will tell you, this is a cooperative partnership between Extension and Shawnee County Farm Bureau. We also invite Cece's Pizza to come in because we've found over the years that in order for this to be really meaningful for the kids, we've got to tie it to something that they really like, and pizza is one of those things that they really like. So that's our theme for the day is how do the ingredients on a pizza come from the farm. We have a lot of volunteers that help out with this because throughout the day we have 4 sessions of second graders, and by the end of the day we've seen 1,000 second graders and probably a couple hundred adults that come with them, so that's a bunch of kids. We have a lot of volunteers that help out with this, and these are volunteers from 4-H and Master Gardeners. We also have the folks from Natural Resources Conservation Service there, as well as the FFA chapters throughout Shawnee County. And so 75 volunteers that are helping us with that day. Now what I wanted to show you this morning was the video that we developed last year in partnership with K-State Research and Extension. Now I wanted to show it. It's a 4-minute video, and remember it's for second graders. So it's a fun video that I think that they've really appreciated, and we're thankful to HR and the Expo Center because we get to go into Landon and use their new video screens to show them the video that sets the stage for the rest of the learning that they're going to get over in Domer. So we're going to show this video, and it'll take it just a couple of seconds to load up here. But I know that, Commissioner Cook, I know you're out of town, so you're not going to be able to join us, but Commissioner Bueller and Commissioner Archer, I know you're going to be there. You're scheduled for 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And 10:30.
10:30, yeah,
Yes.
those kids eat pizza.
They do,
At
9
9 o'clock in the morning.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, they eat pizza.
Actually, as a city boy, I'm looking forward to learning as much as the second graders.
Wonderful. Well, we've had often the parents and the adults say, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But this is the video.
Every day, America's farm families awaken to meet the challenge of feeding and clothing the world. America sends her bounty all over the world, and it all starts on our family farms. To these men and women, the land is a resource to be cared for, preserved, improved, and passed on to the next generation. They're the caretakers of our land. They make their living from it. They provide for us with it. In some way, we're all connected to agriculture. Agriculture is a direct lifeline to over 24 million jobs. That's why we've invited you to learn more about how the food you eat and the clothes you wear come from the farm to you. Today, the average U.S. farmer feeds 155 people. In 1960, a farmer fed just 26 people. Today's farm family grows twice as much food as their parents did, using less land, energy, water, and fewer emissions. Animals and crops raised on Kansas farms are processed into a variety of foods, and then travel to the grocery store where you choose ingredients or ready-made foods to create meals you enjoy, like pizza. Pizza is a popular food, but did you know that Kansas farmers are responsible for the parts that make up a pizza? The stretchy dough that is turned into a golden crust, starts as wheat, which is harvested in June or July. Then it's milled into flour.
And it's making the same separations that we did in the small sifter downstairs, except it's doing it continuously. Can you do that? A hula hoop? There you go. Okay, Omar, check a sample. We'll open this up. Put her hand in there. There. See what we got?
The crust is made by mixing wheat flour with water and oil. It's then mixed until it forms a ball. After allowing the dough to rest, it's pressed into a crust and further prepared for toppings. The ingredient that typically tops the crust, tomato sauce, as well as onions and peppers, are grown in commercial gardens. And the stringy topping that's everyone's favorite, cheese, tops the sauce. Dairy cows and goats provide milk that's used to make the cheese.
That is a lot of milk, isn't it? It takes about 10 pounds of milk to make a pound of cheese. And that's a little over a gallon. A gallon is about 8 pounds.
Next, the pizza toppings include choices from the meat group. Pepperoni made from hogs and hamburger from beef are popular. Chicken and sausage are other examples of meat toppings. Ranchers care for their animals to ensure the food is safe for humans to eat. When the pizza is complete, you can smile and sink your teeth into a bit of Kansas agriculture. As you visit the learning stations today, you'll learn more about how Kansas farmers bring many of the foods you enjoy from the farm to you.
So that sets the stage for the rest of the learning that they're going to do. I did miss a couple of folks. We've got the meteorologists from both television stations that will be there to talk about weather and its impact on agriculture. We also have a local veterinarian, Dr. Dallas Castor, who is there to talk about animal care with the kids. And he brings lots of his props with him, and the kids are really surprised and amazed. So we look forward to having you here, and we look forward to hosting all of our kiddos
It's always
next
fun.
week. Yeah,
It's
it'll
always
be
a great
fun.
time.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lori. Anyone else for administrative communications?
Yes, Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. We just have several events coming up. On Saturday for the Friends of Dornwood, there's a program called Recatch. It's recycling all our basically batting helmets, any type of baseball, softball, supplies you may have in your garage that's been sitting there. You're welcome to take them out to Dornwood, and they will try to recycle them to underprivileged kids and teams that need that type of equipment. We also on Saturday have our Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Foundation annual meeting at the Lake Shawnee Event Center at Bettis Complex at 2 p.m. And also we just started installing our computer labs, or computers for the lab, and we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony with the Topeka Shawnee County Library on May 15th at 10 a.m. at Central Park to initially kick off the partnership with Topeka Shawnee County Library.
Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Did you grab a brochure and check times?
Well, no. I did want to clarify, the town block with Public Works and solid waste again. I did want to make sure I didn't confuse people by when I said the house waste is open every day. I mean every day of the week, from 7 to 3, and then on the first Saturday of every month, except January and July.
Okay.
So
Not open on Sunday.
Right, not open on Sunday. So I didn't want people showing up there on Sunday and on Saturdays that were not open. So I wanted to clarify that. Then the other thing I wanted to clarify and point out during the vouchers regarding the payment to HAM for the Southeast 45th Street, I didn't mention, but that money is from our countywide sales tax program. So I wanted to point out that because that sales tax has been an absolute wonderful thing for things we've been able to do over the past decade or so, or coming up on a decade, and so that I just want to make sure that was pointed out, that's where those funds are coming from for that project. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm back. No, I basically just want to bring attention that this week, all this week is National Public Safety Telecommunication Week. And in this, we just want to bring awareness to our communication specialists, and particularly of recent events that we've had in Boston and some of the other things. It shows how crucial telecommunication and specialists are when they're dealing with tragedies such as that right there. And we have those specialists and those experts that work right here 24/7. So I just want to make that aware. I think I sent some communication to you, but we're very proud of those workers there. So I just want to make that known.
Well, and for those who don't know, that's another success story of a consolidated effort between all the cities in the county, fire departments, police departments, and those employees that work there deal with all of that.
Very much so.
But it works very well. Our thanks to them. All right, anything else? Next item, please.
Item 6, executive sessions.
Is there any? I believe there is not. We are adjourned.